Hello and welcome back to another video. We have the October ScrawlrBox. It has been freshly posted through the letterbox and I can confirm that is accurate. It didn't get put through my letterbox the previous day. And I'm excited to open it. It's arrived at a really good time, around the 21st of October, so it's arrived basically on time as they usually promise. They said we were to be excited about this one, so I'm interested to see what's in it. But let's crack it open and let's see. Okay, let's take all this out. All right, so let's get into this firstly before we go through the zine. Ooh, very nice, very nice. So our monthly sweet today is a banana split eclair. Interesting. Bananas I've never been a fan of since I was very young, but recently I've been enjoying them, so I hope I enjoy these today. Let's have a look at the featured artwork. Oh, how cute is that? That's so stinking cute. That is really cute. Really, really, really cute. I like that. It looks like a pencil, maybe a bit of watercolour as a base, something similar to that. Very nice. Frogs and toads very much in. Although I think we're coming to the end of that trend. Please tell me if I'm wrong. But that's very nice. I really, really like that. Really like that. So this is the featured artist, Kat. My name is Catalina, but I go by Kat online. I've been a professional artist since 2023, consistently sharing my art online since 2019. I love experimenting with colours and shapes, and my style has evolved around these elements over the years. Very nice. Their socials are at the bottom here. But that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful piece of artwork. I love it. Very, very nice. Very nice. Let's go this way. And then the sticker is another little snippet of the artwork, but it's on a matte vinyl. I don't know if I've ever noticed if it's on a matte vinyl. It must have been. This is very nice. I like that. Very, very nice. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've already got on view. So we have two pencils here. They are Lyra's Rembrandt Polycolours. Very nice. Very nice. And we have the colours light cobalt and light carmine. One of my nibs has broken a little bit, but that's fine. I'll give it a sharpen up. Very lovely colours. Very, very lovely colours. I do have a few Lyras. I have tested the Lyras before and I do like them. I think they're very nice pencils. So I'll be interested to see what those are like as well. Then we have a Derwent line maker, 0.3 in black. So kind of a semi-fine nib, not too fine. Very nice as well. I have tried these Derwent line makers before and they've been very, very nice. We then have a ScrawlrBox number 8 chisel nib. I can't remember what these are called. Are they called chisel nibs? Paintbrush. I love this little grey matte colour of this. This is lovely. So that tells me that in this box here is potentially some paints. So I'm excited about that. Let's have a little look now. Real Brush Pro by Karen. Oh, I thought this... Oh, okay. Oh, so these are... So Karen made those really lovely acrylic markers that we received in a box once, and then suddenly they just blew up and people were being sponsored by them to do videos. So these are those. See, this is by the same people, Karen, but these are Brush-like Experience. What are they? Doesn't say what they are on the bottle, but it looks like some sort of ink. Can you see that? Let's see, on the yellow, you'd probably be able to see it. Can you see it's like some sort of ink in there? Oh, I'm very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. But they must be water-based inks. They've got a real brush. I don't know if you can see that. They've got a real brush nib. So they're individual brush bristles. Individual bristles. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. And then the paper is... another ScrawlrBox paper. It is hot press watercolour papers, 10 sheets, 200 GSM, acid free. So a really nice, smooth, less textured watercolour paper. The animals are chasing one another, apologies. Okay, so let's let's get into the zine and see what this tells us a little bit more about those, because I don't know what they are. So it says here, ultra soft real brush nib for smooth sweeps of colour. These pens are packed full of bright pigment ink to make your creations pop. Interesting. Okay, so this is a right angle brush. So not a chisel. But, oh, the pencils are water soluble. Does that say? This would suggest they are water soluble, but I'm unsure currently. I'm unsure. They usually have a little paintbrush on when they're water soluble, but these don't. So unsure about that. We'll do some tests. Then we have a little bit more about Kat, the Scrawlr artists. Their work is incredible. Sorry, I keep touching my tripod and you keep shaking. The artwork here is incredible. I love this. This is really, really nice. I love the style. Then we have some Scrawlr tips and some more Scrawlr tips, and I believe some more behind the artwork. I'll read and give a summary of all of this whilst we swatch as usual. I'm interested to read about these pens and see what we can do with them, because it looks like you can really push the boundaries of how you use those. Then we have the Scrawlr Gallery. So this is artwork from 2 boxes prior to this one. This was when we received the Colorista pens, and the Scrawlr Challenge was Manga Maidens. I did a homage to Ghibli, to Howl's Moving Castle. It looks like someone else did a Yubaba as well. There's some really nice ones on here. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And then the top 3 are these 3, also very nice. God, people really, really push this stuff. It's really beautiful. People can use these supplies so, so well. Puts me to shame, really. Then we have Scrawlr Showcase. So this is another Scrawlr box subscriber who does a lot of painting and stuff. So a little showcase of what they do. Oh, beautiful work, really stunning work. I can see why they've been showcased. Very beautiful. And then the Scrawlr Extra is about frogs. Very, very nice. And our Scrawlr Challenge is land and water. I like that. So you could take that in so many different directions. You could kind of go with a creature that can inhabit land and water, I guess. You could do it as landscapes of land and water. You could really take that any way. But I think this is a beautiful challenge, land and water, and these supplies seem very, very interesting. I love trying new supplies, and you know what? We're on the run up to Christmas. There's always an opportunity to add these to my wish list if I really enjoy them. Do I need more supplies? No, I do not, but is it fun to try them and get new ones? Absolutely. Life is too short. So I'm going to test these out. We're going to swatch these. We're going to read the Scrawlr tips. And then we will create some artwork based on the Scrawlr Challenge, land and water, and see what we come up with. So the Scrawlr tips, as usual, I say this in every video, are pretty generic for any supplies. You have your swatching, your blending, your testing out the supplies as per usual. However, there are a few additional tips. So there's one about storing your markers, keep them stored upright and out of direct sunlight, I'm assuming so that they don't dry out. Then we have testing your pencils, mark making adds visual interest, try scumbling, don't know what that means, hatching, dotting on your marks, add tone and shadows with every layer, keep the tip sharp and use your pencils for outlines. And then one that I found very interesting is all the tips about watercolour techniques. And that really interested me. You can see here I'm doing some wet on wet techniques here. These pens act like a really pigmented ink pen. They are beautiful to work with. Honestly, do you know the Derwent Inktense blocks? If you ever use those, it's a It's an ink that comes in the form of a block, and you can use it like a pan of watercolour, but once they dry they are permanent and light fast, and that's what these are exactly like, but in pen form. They are beautiful and they are so crisp to work with that you don't get streaky lines, you don't get anything like that. The only time you get streaks is if you're trying to layer up colour and you don't blend them whilst they're wet. Obviously once they dry they are permanent, so you can layer these up and create block colour. If you are an artist that likes to do cell shading, these pens are definitely for you. If you are an artist that likes to do blending, these pens are definitely for you. They're gorgeous, and their blending, their mixing of colours, absolutely stunning. They are very, very nice. The Derwent pen, was it Derwent? Yes, the Derwent line maker, very nice. Once it dries it is waterproof. You can add water and the pens on top of them, they're perfect. The Lyra Rembrandt Polycolour pencils, they're gorgeous pencils to use. They are not water soluble, so they were quite nice and interesting to add some texture to your work. Very, very nice and lovely to test out. So for my actual artwork, I kind of drew a lot of inspiration from the featured artist, from the Scrawlr Extra, which was all about frogs, and the fact that the Scrawlr challenge was called Land and Water. I just thought an amphibian being a frog is just a perfect thing to do for that. And I found this reference photo of these 4 beautiful looking frogs hanging on for dear life onto this branch, and honestly it just brought me so much joy to see this little reference photo, and I thought it was perfect for this challenge. I was initially very dubious as to whether we would get the colours that the featured artist used, and I know sometimes the featured artists don't have the colours that they're going to include in the box to do their artwork, but sometimes it feels a shame when they use colours that are just completely different to things we can achieve. So I was really dubious about this because there's a hell of a lot of greens, there's a hell of a lot of, you know, pinky colours and stuff. So and I just thought the yellow, the orange and the turquoise colour just were not going to match that. But when I did my swatches, you would have been amazed by the amount of colours. I wish I'd done one of my usual grid swatches and seen just how many colours I could achieve. But this was beautiful. As you can see, I got this luscious green, I got a very limey greeny yellow colour to do my base, and the possibilities of it are endless. And from those 3 colours I also managed to achieve a nice light pink that I used for their bodies. It was kind of a salmony pink. I then also managed to achieve a really nice brown colour that I did for the branch, and that from 3 colours to me is mind-blowing. And I'm not going to lie to you, these are already on my wish list and I'm excited to get them if someone would like to buy me them from my family. But they are beautiful to work with, and I highly recommend, if you don't have this box, try these. Really do. They are gorgeous to work with, especially if you're a watercolour artist or an inker. You know, these will have so many uses in your supply and to have in your arsenal. They are gorgeous. So as you can see here, I've made this like pinky brown colour for their base. It turns out a bit more pink once dried, and you can see I've blended a lot of the colours, but later on down the line I do add a little bit more a bit less shading and more blocky colours a little bit later, and that's just purely because I knew I had my pencils to incorporate and I was drifting ever so slightly off the colours of the references, just due to having that nice red and that blue, that cobalt blue colour in the pencils to use. And that's just purely because I wanted to use all the supplies. I didn't want to skimp and only use 1 or 2 of them. So I did try and keep that in mind when I was choosing where I was putting my colours. So I'll let you watch a bit more of the painting and then I'll come back with you once I start with the pencil. So once I had those base colours down, as you can see, there's a bit more block shading there. I didn't quite blend everything out as much. I then went in with the light carmine pencil, just starting to build up layers, and I really did press very lightly here. As you can see, I'm barely applying any colour, and that's purely because I wanted to blend that red and that blue in there and create as much kind of depth as I possibly can with the two colours. So it started off with the red, and I kind of used them both as shadowing, but the red more as a mid-tone as well, just concentrating on where there were shadows and kind of darkening the red where possible, so that when I added on this light cobalt blue, it would create a really nice shadow, which worked really, really well. And then for the green sections, I actually went heavier on the light cobalt and lighter on the light carmine, just because I wanted to bounce off the fact that it's green and it's not reddy in tone at all. So I tried to stick with more of the blue on the greens and more of the red on the pinky areas, and that seemed to work really, really well. But it was just me layering these up, and they laid beautifully over the top of these Real Brush Pro markers by Karin, and they just added really nice texture, really nice shading, and I think it just made them pop. And I'm really, really pleased with the way these turned out. But I'll catch up again with you in a minute when we get onto the inking portion. onto the inking. I initially wasn't going to use the ink pen at all. I really liked the way the markers looked with the pencil over the top, and I didn't want to ruin it by adding any inking. But then, I don't know, you weren't getting the definition of all the kind of body parts. You couldn't see the definition of the mouth, the pads of their little hands. I don't know what a frog's hand is called. But you couldn't see the definition of all of that, all their little wrinkles, all their little defined points. And so I thought, I'm gonna have to add this liner in, and luckily it was a nice thin liner. They didn't give us a thick one this time, which was perfect. And I actually didn't go heavy on it. I didn't go full lines. As you can see, I'm skipping bits out. I'm going more sketchily, almost like I'm sketching with it like a pencil, and that seemed to work better. It was less heavy, less dark, less overpowering of the artwork, and I think that was the right choice for this. But it overlaid really nice. I don't really know what to say about it. It overlaid perfectly. It was a very nice supply to use with the other two supplies, and overall this felt like a really well-rounded box. I didn't feel like we were missing anything. I didn't feel like we had something unnecessarily. Sometimes the boxes can include something and you kind of just think, why do we have this in here? It feels like it was an addition that wasn't necessary, or it was a choice that was kind of, I don't know, thrown in there last minute to bulk out the box. That's kind of what sometimes they feel like, whereas this was perfect. Everything was perfect. I think my only qualm, if I was going to pick one thing, is that the angled brush didn't allow me to get the detail in there that I probably would have liked. A very small round brush would have been perfect for this, but then it depends on what you're painting. Some people might be painting patterns or something that requires angles or line work very, straight, and that's what that paintbrush would have been perfect for. But for what I needed for, it was a bit of a struggle, but we got there in the end. I then added this lovely black colour onto the branch, which I slightly regretted. I kind of didn't take my time on it and add the texture I think it deserved, which I thought was a bit of a shame. So then I went in and I mixed this orange colour, I mixed the yellow and the turquoise together, and I created this lovely brown colour. So as you can see, I mixed equal parts of all three colours, and that gave me quite a bluey brown. Well, actually it was quite a bluey green, as you can see. And then I added just slowly more and more of the orange, and eventually it became a nice deep brown. So I overlaid that over the Derwent pen, which worked really well. Like I say, it didn't smudge at all, but it allowed me to add just a little darker hue in there, just to take away from the scratchy nature of the pen, where I wasn't too happy with the texture, and that just finished it off perfectly. And I'm really happy with this, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you received this box and you enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know why. If you enjoyed what I created, please let me know. Drop a little frog emoji down in the comments so I know that you've enjoyed watching. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We do these ScrawlrBox reviews once a month, intermixed with other art videos and vlogs. So if that's something you are keen to watch, please stick around, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.